This is Spiritual Biz Chat with Kimberly Maska. Inspiration for spiritual entrepreneurs. Join our spiritual family at spiritualbizmagazine.com.
Hello, I'm Daniel Pape. I am a Hermetic scholar and the author of the upcoming book, The Disheveled King. I'm also the host of this, the first episode of Spiritual Biz Chat. I'm going to be joined by Kimberly Maska, who is the founder and the publisher of Spiritual Biz Magazine and the creator of Spiritual Biz Academy. Kimberly, it's a real pleasure to have you here. I know that you've been working very hard on this, and I'm very excited to see where this goes from here. And you truly are the go-to business and marketing strategist for spiritual entrepreneurs around the globe. Your 20 years business and marketing experience, 8 of those years were spent on Wall Street, where you were instrumental in building a company up to $165 million value. So, on a personal note, I just see really big things for you, because what you're doing here, in my opinion, is truly building momentum in what I call a paradigm shift. As we all know, there's a lot of people out there that have gifts, spiritual gifts, and they're trying to share it and be of service. And you're building a very powerful platform for people to use those gifts. So on behalf of all of us, all the people that resonate with you, thank you for doing what you're doing. I know it takes a lot of courage and a lot of work. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's jump right in, shall we? There's a few questions I've always wanted to ask you, and I'm sure our viewers would love to hear them. So the first one is, tell me why Spiritual Biz Magazine, and more importantly, why now?
Well, I think it's something that is needed, and especially right now. So like they say, if not now, when? But the now part is, I'm seeing, and I think we're all seeing this, as you said, like a paradigm shift, or there's like this tipping point that's happening in with regular everyday people, where now the words like mindfulness and meditation, that's all becoming very commonplace. Even in corporate America, they're trying to bring in mindfulness and meditation and just being aware and being aware of what we're thinking and our consciousness. So I think the timing is absolutely right. There is this shift happening, and I'm seeing the opportunity for more spiritual entrepreneurs to come out with their message. So being able to create a magazine like this is just, it's so exciting. It's kind of a little surreal, but it's for me, it's about creating a community where spiritual entrepreneurs who either already are out there, or maybe are just trying to figure out, are they ready to get out there with their message and their gift? They have a place to come. They have a place to come and find out about, how do you create a business, and hear other people's experiences and get inspiration and ideas, and hear interviews of other entrepreneurs who have done it, who are spiritual entrepreneurs, other mediums, intuitives, psychics, life coaches that have done this really big, and how have they done it. So I'm trying to really create just an arena for people to come and learn and be inspired and get out there, so that they know it's okay to get out there with their gift and their message as well. So it's just really exciting. And on a little side note, I'd like to actually thank you, Daniel, because for those of you who don't know, Daniel is my spiritual partner, and he was kind of the catalyst for me creating the magazine. And it's I think it's a funny story, but a while back, several months ago, he said, he's watching me do all this work and things I'm creating, and he's like, you should create a magazine. And I said, magazine? I'm like, you're crazy. I'm like, I had so much going on, and launches and what have you, and I was like, you're out of your mind. And I ignored him, and I think it was because I just wasn't ready to receive the message. And I think this is a great lesson for everybody. I just wasn't able to hear it. I immediately shut down. I was like, oh, you're crazy. And then a few months later, I was in meditation trying to figure out the next steps for my business and where was I going to go with it. And I could actually hear his voice in my meditation. I'm like, why am I hearing him? And as soon as came out of meditation, was done, I had all these kind of interesting synchronicities, things that came to me. I had like 3 or 4 things that came to me in 24 hours about online magazines and being a publisher and all of this. And I was like, oh, that's why. So it all came together. So I do have to thank Daniel, because without his, I think, initial little push that I might not have done this. So thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for listening to me. And you, likewise, you've always been there to support me and what I'm doing with my book and just everything. So this helps all of us. You know, all the co-creators out there are a part of this too. So outstanding. Again, thanks for listening. Let's jump right into question 2. Now, I find this very interesting that, and I'm sure everyone will, that you've spent such a large part of your career on Wall Street. And how did you get from Wall Street to working with spiritual entrepreneurs? It's a very interesting transition.
It is. And I wish I could say it was smooth and I suddenly discovered my purpose and here I am, but it's never quite that easy, is it? So, I spent really all my career in kind of corporate America working for different mortgage banks. Had not been my intention whatsoever. I had actually gone to school to be a therapist, believe that or not. I ended up doing all this corporate stuff. And but on my path, I ended up on Wall Street working for a firm. And then 9 of us actually left a major firm and created our own company, which was exciting and crazy all at the same time. 9 of us sitting around in a living room, creating our ideas, like birthing this company. We pulled together 15 million of our own money and was able to turn it into a $165 million company, which is really crazy and fun and exciting. And I can see the lesson in it. But at the time I was, it just wasn't feeding my soul. I was miserable. I was not a fun person to be around, but on the outside, it looked great. I had this, beautiful apartment on Fifth Avenue. I was traveling all the time, an apartment in Paris. Like on the outside, everyone's like, wow, this is so cool. And I was like, it is, but I just was so not being fed. And so I decided to leave, and which was a really tough decision because it wasn't just a job. I wasn't just leaving a company. I was leaving something that I'd helped create. And that was a really tough decision. But I left. And then, like I said, I wish I could say suddenly I figured out what my purpose was, but it wasn't quite that easy. I bounced around a little bit and then finally started seriously on my own spiritual path. And I was meeting these incredible people with these amazing gifts that weren't really seeing it as an opportunity for a business. They weren't really seeing themselves as spiritual entrepreneurs. They were really just, this is what I do and I have this gift. So I thought, well, what amazing way to take my gifts, my ability to create companies and marketing and all that left brain stuff and marry it with the right brain, spiritual, the feminine energy, which is how I live my life every day. And so it was just a fantastic opportunity. So I could see how to pull it together. I took that and said, okay, how do we make that bigger? How do we grow this? Which is how we are here today talking about Spiritual Biz Magazine. But that's how the path happened. And it was really, a blessing, as we always, when we're on our journey, because I know a lot of you out there are on your journey trying to figure out, what's my path? Do I take my gift and go with it? Like, what do we do? And it is terrifying. I mean, I gotta tell you, it wasn't an easy process, but now I can look back and see why I was in the career that I was in, how that helped me, how I'm able to use that now and move forward. And it really is a gift, but sometimes it's hard to see it when you're in the forest. And so you gotta step out. But that's how I ended up here.
So you truly married the two sides of yourself. You took your business expertise and, of course, your spiritual awareness, and you combine them, and now you're providing a service for other people. One of the things that I always think contribute towards this process, why it's sometimes moves slowly, is because of fear. I don't know if you agree, but I'd love to get your opinion on why. I guess the question is, what do you think is the biggest obstacle holding spiritual entrepreneurs back from actually stepping out and creating this ripple effect? And truly it is stepping out there. They're coming out with, something that is unique, and it's something that I truly feel is needed right now. It's important. But why do you think it's such a slow process? What is the biggest obstacle?
Yeah, I mean, I see two, but you hit the nail on the head with the biggest one, and that's the fear. That's that stepping out, that being vulnerable, especially if you're an intuitive or you're a medium, and those are things that aren't really commonly accepted yet. I think they will be. I think part of this paradigm shift is that we're all going to be able to see each other's energy and know what we're feeling, and we're all really empaths, right? It's just what vibration are we on to be able to receive that information. So as people start to step out, it'll become more commonplace, but sometimes we're afraid. What are people going to think? What's so-and-so going to say? Am I going to lose friends because I'm stepping out as an intuitive or as a medium? I know mediums that have lost friends because of that, but then you have to ask yourself, like, how good of a friend was that to begin with? But it is scary. And I know when I stepped out with my gift, because I was, again, very corporate and what have you, but I also do have a deep spiritual side, and my mother was an amazing intuitive, and I've picked that up from her, and I see things, and I had never said that to anyone really out loud. Like, the family knew, because how do you not know? It was so obvious with how she and I could connect and know things in advance. But when I was working with spiritual entrepreneurs to begin with, I hadn't actually said anything about that. I was just this corporate person. And when I finally stepped out, it was really scary. And I wrote a blog post about it. And I had some interesting things happen in the house. I'd had a visitor will say that other people couldn't see. Things were moved. It was this whole experience. I kind of had to write about it. It was such a big thing. And people were like, I had no idea that you were also intuitive or could see people that had transitioned or in that experience. They just saw me as this corporate person. And I think I was hiding. I was hiding behind that, I know business, I know marketing, and I wasn't ready to step out. And when I did, the transformation in myself and my business was huge. And so I want others to see that as well and be like, when you finally step out, it's amazing what can happen. It's really incredible to see how people support you and come together. And that's really why I've created the magazine, is to create the community where we can all get the support and let that fear let the fear push you and let it push you to where you need to go versus holding you back. And so that's, that fear thing, I think just it's a kicker for all of us. But I also have a second one that I see a lot, and I'm going to get a little on my soapbox, but this is such a big thing for me. But I think spiritual entrepreneurs are really afraid. I'm going to use the word afraid because I hear it a lot about taking in abundance for their gift. So it's about really making it a business and taking in the money, having that financial success. I see spiritual entrepreneurs struggle so much financially, and it kind of boggles my mind because here we are, we're in a tune, we're in alignment, we meditate, and yet this major thing that we need to survive and be able to help more people struggle with bringing that in. So I think that the idea of charging for your gifts is something that really holds people back. They feel like I shouldn't charge, or they're doing it for free and they get uncomfortable if they have to charge, but it's just energy. Money is just energy, and the universe wants everything to be in balance. So how do we keep that in balance? If you're going to give energy to your clients, you need to receive it back. And you might as well receive it back in the form of money, because that will allow you then to help more people. Like, how do you, you can't help when you're not taken care of. So you'll be able to take care of yourself and then turn that around and help more people. So it's not about creating money to buy things. That's not what we're talking about. But it's about creating that financial abundance to then turn around and help more people and change more lives. And so I see that as another huge factor that holds back spiritual entrepreneurs.
Wow. It's so true. And everything is spiritual. Everything, as we know, and not to get into quantum physics, but it's becoming common knowledge that everything that we experience on this material level has a vibrational reality at its core. Even money. It's an energy exchange. So it sounds like you are helping these spiritual entrepreneurs to really shift. It's almost a belief system, because money is not the problem. Perhaps the problem is our attitude about the problem, about money. So money isn't really the problem, and these belief systems. And I find it interesting, and I don't want to get too much into this right now, but that money is exchanged all the time in all kinds of businesses, and it seems that if you're not truly helping anyone, it's okay to make money. But the moment you're actually helping someone, how dare you make money? Imagine if we reversed that, where money becomes abundant when you're actually providing a service, where you're helping someone. And if money was made during that, wouldn't that seem like a natural flow? It's just a thought, and I think that goes in with what you're saying. So fantastic. It's a process, it's a paradigm shift. So these things, it builds momentum. And I think that's what we're doing right now. So let me move on here. What is the next question? It's very clear that you've got Spiritual Biz Magazine, and here we are, Spiritual Biz Chat. What is Spiritual Biz Academy? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, this is, again, trying to build that community and really create a movement for spiritual entrepreneurs to be able to get out there. And so what I've done is created an academy where spiritual entrepreneurs can come and learn exactly what they need to know to be able to get their business out there. It's about the marketing. It's about solidifying your message, really defining who your tribe is, because I think that's a huge miss with everybody, not just spiritual entrepreneurs. We think we can help everyone, which we can, but we really have to define who is our tribe. And then how do you get out there and serve them the best? How do you put your best self out there to change as many lives as possible? And so I've created the academy where spiritual entrepreneurs can join and come in and learn. And so every week we have a new lesson and you get to interact. There's live Q&A so that we're in there when you have questions. You're stuck in a piece of your business and you're like, I need someone to look at what I created. Does this make sense? This is where this community comes in so that we can help each other, because my goal is just really to have the ripple effect to change as many lives as possible. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that my goal as myself and having the Spiritual Biz Academy is to create 5,000 new spiritual businesses in 5 years. And I think that's a pretty lofty goal, but I'm excited to try and hit that. So if I can get 5,000 people creating their businesses, think about the impact that we can have on this planet. If you can create your business, and right now you're helping your neighbor or your sister or whoever it is you're helping, say you're helping 2 or 3 people with your gifts, and now you can help 300, 500, 5,000. If you can build that community where you're touching and changing lives, and I can create 5,000 of those people, help them get out there with their gifts and create those businesses, I'm beyond excited when I talk about it. But to have that ripple effect on the planet and really have a huge impact so that we can kind of push that paradigm shift along. Let's get everyone talking about mindfulness. Let's get everyone meditating. Let's get everyone not carrying around those burdens that we carry around as humans. And so that's the goal with Spiritual Biz Academy.
Very inspiring. Outstanding. Last question, Kimberly, is really, I love this too. I love the sound of it. Your signature program is called Making Money While You Meditate. And I just love the sound of that. But tell me more. How do you make money while you meditate?
Yeah, this is fun. This came from one of those ideas. Everyone talks about how do you make money while you sleep? That whole, it seems like a pie in the sky. Is that possible? And it is possible. So I created this program called Making Money While You Meditate, because as spiritual entrepreneurs, I think if we had more time and were financially abundant and secure, we would be meditating a lot more, which means we could create more, right? That we would get that inspiration and receive our downloads from source that we're looking for. So if we can make money while we meditate, everything's better. So the idea behind it is to automate your business. Now, this is the part I know spiritual entrepreneurs go, the technology piece, and it's a little left brain, but I try to make it as fun and simple as possible. But once you build the foundation for a business, then it starts to kind of flow on its own. And so this is really for a spiritual entrepreneur that's a little more set up, a little more senior in what they're doing. They know who their tribe is. They've got some processes in place. They're in the flow of it already, but they're maybe working too hard. Because when we're coaching people, we're doing readings and we're doing that one-on-one, it can be exhausting, and you really get emotionally and you're drained and your energy is drained. So how do we then fulfill ourselves, touch more lives, and get out there and also, again, create that abundance? I want to be able to, have all my entrepreneurs out there check their account before they meditate, and when they come out of meditation, there's more in there, and it's totally doable. And it's really exciting to me because when you, I do enjoy that left brain stuff, that technology piece, and when you put it together and you can build it and see it working, it's pretty incredible. So that's how you make money while you meditate.
Sounds great. It sounds like that's a point where people can take what you're teaching and it's a goal that they can reach with this. Once they put everything in place, and as you said, it's probably for more advanced students, but they can get there, correct? Is that something that's, in your opinion, it's very a reachable goal to make money while you meditate?
Absolutely. It's very obtainable, and when you reach that and when you see it happen, it's such a beautiful thing because now that entrepreneur, their time frees up. They get now the freedom. I think the whole idea of being an entrepreneur, spiritual or otherwise, is about creating the freedom in our lives so that we have freedom financially, we have freedom with time, we have freedom to be with our family and really, see our kids grow up or whatever it is that you have a passion about. So when you can create the process to make money while you meditate, then you get that freedom happens, the financial abundance happens, everything flows into place. And then that's the dream life. That's the life everyone is striving for. And it is absolutely attainable.
Well, thanks again, Kimberly. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for sharing this with us. And I will definitely see you later. Okay.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Spiritual Biz Chat with Kimberly Maska. Inspiration for spiritual entrepreneurs. Hear our latest interviews and join our spiritual family at spiritualbizmagazine.com.